Well, not smarter. They just know what real beer is. Most of us never tasted real beer until recent history. We were used to that watered down stuff, prohibition beer. The other thing that blew my mind, I was at where there was a lot of young people, like a kind of a nightclubby place, and I see all these young kids drinking light beer, and then taking little shooters. Some were green, I don't know what the hell they were drinking. I said, what are you drinking? He said, he said, I forgot what it was. I said, he said, that's to get a buzz on. I said, why don't you drink beer with a little alcohol in it? You're never going to get a buzz on light beer. I mean, it's even hard to get drunk with that stuff. Drinking too much of any beverage is bad. I just want you to know that drinking beer is moderate. You got to be moderate. And I've been drinking beer a long time. I'm 69 years old. I started here in 1962. And somebody asked me one time, I tried to figure it out, how much beer I drink, and I drink every day. I don't miss. Well, I did miss a couple. In the last 47 years, I can count on one hand the days I did not have a beer. Once was appendicitis, I forget what else was. What I'm saying is, I love beer, and I drink beer every day, but I'm spoiled. I've had the good stuff. I've been to Europe. I love European beer, but I like it over there. I don't care for it over here. I never drink European beer. At one time, that's all I could get. And then I would never drink it in bottles. The problem with beer doesn't keep very well. It doesn't. It's a drink of moderation. Wine, yeah, 15%, it will keep. I have some beers that will keep too. They're 9-10%. But 5% beer, which is most beer, will not keep. I put 6 months on. And that's reasonable. Do you know what the Europeans put it in? Oh, another thing beer doesn't like to be, it's bounced around. How do you think it gets here? With a boat. For 6 or 7 days. Unrefrigerated. Then laying in unrefrigerated warehouses. It just does not handle properly. Like my beer, I keep it, when I bottle my beer, I'm bottling it about 31, 32 degrees. Then my warehouse is refrigerated. My beer doesn't get warm till it leaves it. Now I'm not saying it has to be kept cold all the time, but the cooler you keep it, the longer it will keep. That's with anything, whether it's lettuce or bologna or whatever. You keep it cold, it's going to keep longer. So this idea of leaving in unrefrigerated containers and then in the warehouses, I never drink it here, but I go to Europe at least once. I've been there 40 times, at least once a year. And I love the beers over there. But I don't care for them over here. So buy American for the first, and we, just like wine, you can buy that French wine. I've had all those too, the Mouton Rothschild and Latour and Lafite and all. I've had them. I own all this. I'm worth a few bucks. And I like good wine, but I can't drink cheap wine. So once a week, my wife and I open some, what we get mostly nowadays is from California. Private reserves. There's some of the finest wines are made right here in this country. And I've had the Latours, and they're good, don't get me wrong. But when I had them, they used to be $50, $60 a bottle back in the 70s. Now they're $200 a bottle for a good first growth Bordeaux. I'd Romanée Conti, that's $500, $700. Okay, you go to California, go to one of these, I go once a year, my wife and I, and we smuggle it back somehow, just for our own use. And once a week we have a bottle of good wine. And we buy these private reserves. And you go into a winery and you say, what's the best wine you make? And you try to talk them into give you a sample, and they're wonderful. They blow those Frenchies away. So buy American, you gotta pay a little more for the good stuff. But especially for beer. Beer isn't, the good stuff isn't much. Now that $30 bottle, you can buy cheap wines for 10, so it's 3 times as much, right? But beer, what you pay for a Bud of Mill is like $20 a case here in Pennsylvania. For $30, you can get mine or Victory or Trove. So it's, what, 40%, 50%, 40% more? So here it is. So beer isn't, the good stuff isn't that much more than the cheap stuff, 30%. And that's 3 times the flavor. Dollar-wise, a craft beer is your best dollar value because it's 3 times the flavor. It costs 4 times as much to produce. That corn is cheap, and we're not making millions of gallons at a time and all that stuff. Labor too. Some people say, well, it's important to employ people. Well, we do 10,000 barrels. We have 10 full-time people earning a living wage. Now, that's 1 per 1,000. Do you know what the big guys are? one for 8,000. That includes the salespeople and everything. So we employ more people, same the winery. So pay a little more, drink a little less. Buy a beer that has 2 or 3 times the price, then you don't have to drink as much. You know? It's better for you. Any other questions? I'll walk you through the brewing for you.